Chiwetel Ejiofor, of course, from 12 Years a Slave, your performance is unbelievable, and it was a difficult movie for me to watch, but so emotional and such an unbelievable story.
Yeah, no, Solomon Northup's story is incredible. You know, and I think he in 1853 he wrote about his experiences with such a kind of profound humility and poetry, and just such a beautiful book, a beautiful way of describing himself and his life and what happened to him. And I think in the hands of Steve McQueen, you know, it's just been a really incredible experience to bring that off the page and tell that story.
Was this an intimidating role for you? I mean, it seems to me that there might be a lot of pressure to get something so important so right.
Oh, I was definitely intimidated by it, yeah. I felt the weight of it, the responsibility of it. I'd never seen a story from inside, and certainly on film, I'd never seen a film from inside the slave experience in this way, and so I felt it, and it almost led me to not want to get involved. You know, I had a long conversation with Steve initially, and I told him about my concerns with it, and that I just felt that if, you know, I didn't want to be the center of the thing if I couldn't get it right, you know, and if I sort of let it down. And so, but you know, I went back to Solomon's book and realized that I didn't have to think with that side of my head so much. I just had to try and connect to him, to his story, and to try and tell his story as best I could. Yeah.
Now, I heard that you originally turned the role down and then went back and decided to take it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I was kind of on the fence about it, and then I went back to the book, and then I called Steve up again and was just like, yeah, let's do it. You know, he's a man of such passion and enthusiasm. He was very hard to turn down anyway, but this story was and Solomon's own personal journey was so compelling.
And tell us about hanging out with Brad Pitt.
Well, Brad was so instrumental in this whole process. You know, he, not only, as everybody knows, he's a fantastic movie star, great actor, he's also a real lover of film, and a real lover and a champion of cinema and champion of filmmakers. And so him and his company, Plan B, really pursued Steve, really put this thing together, and I'm just so great. I don't think without his involvement it may not have been possible to do it. So I'm really grateful for Brad for being just such a great actor and a great guy.
He was also a producer on the film?
That's right, yeah, he was in his company.
Man of many hats. And you and Michael Fassbender have some very intense scenes together. How was it once you're off camera, you're done with those intense scenes? What kind of a relationship did you have?
Well, it was all, we went at it like, you know, as a family. You know, we wanted to I mean, that's one of the things about it, as Steve McQueen said, is that it always feels like a family. And so, you know, we always just felt that cut meant cut, and that we could go out and enjoy ourselves in New Orleans, which is a great town to go out in. And so we did, and we had, you know, the way that the film worked was that people were, because it was kind of an odyssey nature of the film, that meant that people were arriving certain weeks, people were leaving, so we'd have dinners for people arriving, dinners for people leaving, and we'd go out, and then we'd try and give 100% to the days, to the work at hand, and then we'd go out and enjoy ourselves in Louisiana.